people being HFT means just being data wise 1 second or below. High frequency trading be a marketing term just to hype people into believing that they are doing high frequency trading. For example, on MetaTrader, which is a complete joke, because you can't do you cannot do high frequency trading on MetaTrader. Okay, MT4, MT5, that's just not possible. So here we are talking about this for our TradingView. So what I'm showing you right now, this is the key part right here, is the number of your time frame. You can see here, you can look at 1 second. A lot of platforms may go down to 1 minute, but below that, not possible for a lot of them. But here, you can go right down to 1 second. So does that mean you can do high frequency trading? Not quite purely, but it's pretty close for a trading platform. Now I want to show you on the data side, this matters. So I'm going to take a look at 3 popular asset classes. And we're going to look at gold, euro, USD, Forex, and Bitcoin. So we're going to look at different data providers. And let's go ahead and start checking it out. Now, generally, you can't do this. Hello, Pepe. Normally, you cannot do this on most retail trading platforms. You kind of can't do this on even a built-out solution you may have. You'll get raw data, but to get a charting platform to keep up with it, or a charting library, I've tried. You can do it, but it's this easy to do where you pay your $30, $60 per month on TradingView and you have the same solution. The only difference is that you got to work with a proprietary language called PineScript to do all of this fun stuff. That's the only drawback. But once you get into PineScript, then you go, why am I using other stuff? Now remember, this is $60 a month. So what I'm going to show you is going to blow your mind. All right. So as I said, we're going to look at Bitcoin first. And I want to show you all the different data sources. So this is second data or a 1 second data frame or time frame Bitcoin on these different data sources. This is Bitstamp. And you could see there's so many gaps there. That's what you got to be more concerned with, because if you're trying to do so-called quote unquote high frequency trading, your data source matters, because if you're getting, like in this case, you might get a tick every 5 seconds. Let's see if we can achieve that. So we got 5 seconds here. Still, we're getting gaps at 5 seconds. But every 10 seconds, still there's lots of gaps. So obviously, Bitstamp is just something you don't want to be on. So that matters to so-called call yourself a high-frequency trader, depending upon your data source. So when you go into something like, to be fair, Coinbase has the best, just straight up. It has the best data source that I've seen. So Coinbase, you can see it still has gaps on a 1 second time frame, right? So you can see here, technically you couldn't do high frequency trading because of the gaps that you get. And that's the best of the retail crypto exchanges. Like this, if you're trying to trade on this on a 1 second basis, you won't be able to, because your model or whatever you're using trying to keep up with this is just going to falter. All the gaps are going to throw you off, especially if you go from here to here or from here to there. I mean, it's just, or you just get this long pause. So it doesn't get better from there. I've shown you Bitstamp. Let me show you Kraken. And this can kind of matter because this is actual traded data. So here's Binance. Now, I don't know if this is Binance out of their servers in Japan or Binance US. I'm going to assume it's out of Japan. So you can still, it's not so bad. And Binance is still supposed to be the largest exchange in the world. You can see all those little gaps. Not as bad, but still they're there. But you can see the patterns there. The next one we can look at, let's take a look at one that I'd have to go on is Gemini. Um, let's see here. So you can see by order. Let's take a look at crypto. So crypto.com has lots of gaps, and then you get into this. I'll show you another one on that in a minute. The data source is what matters. Let's see here. So we got Gemini, 8cap, Kraken. Oanda is a forex broker. I mean, Oanda is pretty good compared. Like when you get volume building up in the price, you can see that there's fewer gaps, right? So, and once it slows down, it's you start to see the caps. But for Oanda on Bitcoin USD, that's pretty good. And that's a CFD. Okay, so that's not a real spot price of Bitcoin. But going through this, so I've shown you Capital, Binance. I've shown you here. Here's a futures contract for Binance. Again, I don't know if this is Binance US or Binance.com. Okay, so that's the futures contract for Bitcoin. Looking for something a little better. Now, this one really surprised me is TradeStation. Fewer gaps, yes, but look at those wicks. Those wicks are just as bad as the gaps. But TradeStation is pretty surprising on their volume. I have to admit, their volume's a little better on TradeStation. And then we get into popular places like Bybit. That's looking pretty good, actually. That's a futures contract for Bybit. That is looking pretty good. And again, when you see less gaps, the better chances you'll do better because there's no collapse in the price. Where else can I show you? I'm looking for right here, CME. So this is right off the exchange in Chicago. You can see here rolling back, still a lot of gaps for the CME. So what that tells you is there's more volume in the retail exchanges than the actual futures exchange. That's something that would surprise me being on the CME. Okay. So look at that gap right here from here to there and then back down. This means it could be, in my mind, kind of manipulated, like pumped up with a price. I'm not here to say but that's something that needs to be looked at. Being on the CME for the Bitcoin. So in a nutshell, this is now, as I said, this is TradingView. To get access to the CME futures for Bitcoin, you'd probably pay a big mint of money to get access to this data. Okay, so even though those doesn't look much, you pay a lot of money for that, but you're getting that for the same price as if you were a retail trader, depending upon the exchange that you want to go with. So I'm just trying to see if there's any other. I think we looked at Bybit. Let's see. Bybit's another popular one, or getting popular. Let's see here. But you can go through this on your own time to look at this, but there's just so many options here. Okay, so let's start moving over to another option here. I'm just going to see if anyone's got any questions or comments. Doesn't look like it. Okay, so the next one I want to show you is the Euro USD. Okay, this is a big one because obviously it's a popular one. And I want to show you the different data sources. So can you technically trade HFT? It depends upon, as I said, depends upon your data source. But when you look at the Euro USD, I'm going to look at the first one. So this is a current open live exchange. This is not a broker. This is ICE future exchange. And you can see how well defined that is. It's very liquid in terms of the ticks. So that's the real deal. Okay. Um, very fluid. Lots of. There's no gaps whatsoever on a real futures exchange in Europe. Okay, and again, to get access to that on the ice, you'd probably pay top dollar for that, especially on a second by second basis. Okay, so that right there would be what would make you borderline be able to do high frequency trading if you had access to trade on the ICE exchange um, through a broker. You might, I'm not sure, maybe you could do it on Interactive Brokers as your broker and then use this data source, the ICE, as your data source. That's really impressive for TradingView at what you pay, $30, $60 a month. You'd be probably paying well into the thousands for that type of access. Okay, so now let's start taking a look at the different retail brokers. So we can look at FXCM, back to the same poor person problem of all the gaps as well. I can show you Owanda's a little better. Okay. Owanda here still has gaps, and this is the largest Forex pair in the world. And you can see all the gaps there on a second by second basis. Or if you want to look at Forex.com, more gaps. See right here, this would throw off your model. So technically you could try to do high frequency trading, but the only way you can do it is if you're on a futures exchange like the ICE. Okay, that's the only way to do that. To define what you could say, okay, I'm borderline trading high frequency on through TradingView. Depends again on your data source. So if you look at Pepperstone, more gaps. If you look at even for the crypto exchanges, it's just really dry. Here you can see this might have worked. That might be institutional volume coming in through the U.S. through Bitstamp. So you can technically trade on crypto exchanges for popular Forex pairs. Another one is very popular, Saxo. I mean, that looks pretty bleak to me. And right now it's 7 p.m. So it'd be like 12 midnight in, let's say, the UK. And 1 a.m. I know in Switzerland right now. So this is not possible through Saxo to say, yeah, I trade high frequency trading, and this is what you'll get on MetaTrader as well. So any idiot that says they're high frequency trading, that's not high frequency trading at all because of all the gaps and whatnot. If you were trading through, as I showed you on the ICE, yeah, you are. But what platform outside of TradingView that will enable you to trade on ICE, right? Futures broker out of Europe. So let's take a look at some other brokers here. Kraken, not much. Interactive Brokers, another popular one, but you can see how dry that is. It's too many gaps. Now, again, if you think you want to improve it, now this is supposed to be the largest retail broker in the world, Interactive Brokers. 5 seconds, it's nowhere's better. 10 second, still lots of gaps. 30 second, getting a little better. Okay, so that's not so bad. But again, it depends upon what you're trying to do in your trading strategy or model within the Pine script. But again, this is what you want to see. You like, for anybody who's new, this is what you want to see. As I said, the ICE right here, boom, no gaps. Very nice, very nice. That's what you want to see. Again, on a 1 second basis, if you had a model that was able to trade that, yes, you could be, again, borderline high frequency trading, no questions asked. That's what you want to see. But again, that's on Euro USD, ICE. So continuing along, looking at some of the more popular brokers. So that's what I'm trying to tell you is that through a broker, retail broker, it's kind of a joke if you want to so-called quote-unquote trade high frequency trading. But I could go on. So let's see. ICE spot Euro USD. This is not open. Either I don't have access to it, I have to pay. And to get access to the data is very, very affordable on good old TradingView. That's what I like about it. Okay, so let's take a look at any questions or comments. Just type them up. Without the engagement, we just keep these things really, really short. So we're looking at gold now. Um, let's see what we got here. Here's another futures exchange, MCX. I'm not sure if that's out of India, but nothing's going on there. Let me just pull up my list here. So for gold, oh yes, I can put. Let me show you. So we have some out of India. I just want to show you ICE first. So again, I'm going to show you the ICE. Gold spot is what I'm looking for. Let's see here. So we have COMEX. Yeah, you have to pay for that data. Gold. Let's see if I can find the ICE. Yeah, if there was a way to sort this, I'd be a lot easier. Maybe XAU. Let's see here, right here. So this is gold. So that's pretty good for 1 second. I showed you the Euro USD. So this is the equivalent on ICE. That's not bad at all. Okay, you can see how active it is. There are some gaps in there, but when you get some volume, yes. That again, borderline high frequency trading. That's the lowest you can go. To me, that's pretty impressive to get that on ICE. But again, that's can you trade off that live? But to get access to the data, you see it right here, and it's live. Okay, so let's start looking at some of the Forex brokers. Okay, so Forex.com. That's not too bad. We can look at Awanda. Lots of gaps there. Let's say Forex.com, Pepperstone, lots of gaps. And let's see, Pepperstone, we've shown you the ICE, Saxo Bank, very dry. This is supposed to be a really good provider. Saxo doesn't impress me. I'll leave it at that. Pith, you could be surprised on some of the data sources here. FX Open, so it's still quite a bit here. And you can see probably if you compare the ICE, there's more stability in the price. See? Doesn't move around as much. But with the retail Forex brokers, like let's say with Awanda, it's still fairly stable, but there's still lots of gaps. But depending on, you can see how Saxo is just all over the place. You would not be able to really rely on this for data on a second basis at all. So it really depends upon where you're getting your data from and who you're trading on. That does make a massive difference. And you can imagine what it's like on the hourly basis or whatnot. So that's what matters, right? So if there's any questions, let me know. Okay, I just wanted to show you this, that depending upon your data source, I think there's one more I can try to show you, MCX, if I can find it. So here's cool gold dollar by the kilo. So still fairly stable. Lots of activity there. less gaps. So any comments or questions? If not, I'll do a wrap on this for tonight, today, wherever you are. So to answer the question, can you trade high frequency trading on on uh, on TradingView? I'm going to say quite possibly yes. Depends upon your data source, and also depends upon your asset. Also depends upon where you're trading through, because there will be a discrepancy with the exchange. I'm pretty sure you would not be able to do any orders through ICE unless you're paying big money to be on that. Plus, you have to have a big account, like in the millions, to get access on that account. You will not be doing that on TradingView. But from a retail perspective, if you're able to use, let's say, ICE as your data source for gold, popular instruments like Euro USD, I would say you've got a borderline HFT trading, yes. Now, in terms of your execution, your orders depends on where you're getting that through, because there will be a discrepancy on that as well, where there'll be a lag. So let's say if you're going through interactive brokers, it's not going to be instantaneous. But that's the best you can get from a retail perspective with a minimal retail account on TradingView. As I said before, if you're trying to do this on on a retail trading platform, I don't think you'll be able to go below a minute. But again, you can see we're here on a 1 second basis. That matters. So again, it depends how you define what high frequency trading is. In my world, if you're under 1 second, then yeah, you're probably able to say you're trading on high frequency, but you also got to be able to say, I am trading on that exchange. If I'm on ICE and I'm getting the data, as you can see here, fairly active, but I'm also trading on ICE, then yeah, you're doing true high frequency trading. Now, in terms of you have data access to ICE, but you're not trading through ICE, the exchange, but you're going through another broker, as I said, like interactive brokers, you're kind of like halfway there. But it's not true high frequency trading. Now, again, you're not going to get this with a lot of platforms. You would pay a lot of money, or you'd have to have a huge account, like a $250,000, $1 million account, to get that kind of access. It might get lower. The requirements might go lower as fewer traders drop off down the road, and less institutional traders, so they may drop the requirements. But right now, you got to have a 6-digit account. There's no doubt on that. And the fees would be pretty expensive too. But to get access like this on TradingView, it's pretty impressive. As I said, even if you're on Bitcoin CME, you're better off to be on a retail exchange anyways. I've shown you that already. But generally, I have to say for TradingView, this is pretty. I give them a lot of credit for getting people to this point. Any other questions at all? If not, I'm going to tear down. These are getting shorter and shorter because less and less engagement on TradingView these days. Anybody? I'll do it going once, twice, 3 times. Otherwise, I'll give it a wrap. Going once, going 2000, going 2001, going 2003, going 3000. Okay, I guess we're done. All right, thanks for being part of this, and we shall talk to you later at some point. Over and out. Thanks again. Bye.